Francine Frensky, Olympic rider, is definitely an interesting episode of Arthur because Arthur's basically not in it. There are other episodes that focus on other characters, but to have him so absent is quite unusual. But it works well, mainly because Francine's an interesting character. Francine has saved up enough money for horse riding lessons, and her parents kind of reluctantly agree, but only if Catherine takes her because they're at work during the day, Catherine being Francine's big sister, and she reluctantly agrees until she realizes that the riding instructor is, in her eyes, a very cute boy. And she decides to have riding lessons as well, and she's very good. And Francine's instantly disheartened and put out by this because it was her who wanted the lessons. She wanted to be doing horse riding lessons, and her sister is better than her. Her sister is getting the attention of the rider more, and suddenly it puts Francine off of the idea of horse riding. Will she stick with it? I think it's definitely something that a lot of people can relate to, especially if they have an older sibling. I don't have an older sibling. I'm the oldest by quite a number of years, but I am aware that having an older sibling can make some people feel the pressure of performing to their level, and if their older sibling is better than them at something, there's this kind of almost, well, why should I bother even trying attitude, which I think is something that a lot of us feel with other people in our lives as well. If there's something you want to do, but somebody you know does it and they're better than you, what's the point in trying? Because we always compare ourselves to other people, and this is what Francine is doing, but also they're also comparing her. The rider does at one point say to Catherine that Francine is not up to her level. Francine overhears this, and it hurts her, and of course it would, especially as, this was Francine's activity. This was something Francine wanted to do, so how is it fair that her older sister is better at it than her, when it was her activity of choice? And that's going to hurt. And I don't think the lessons in this are as strong as they could be. Some morals in Arthur are blatantly obvious, whereas others don't really have that many strong messages. This one, I read into it that it's kind of about, first of all, if you are the older sibling, realizing how the younger sibling might be feeling in this situation and doing anything you can to help them, but also not comparing yourselves to other people. If you want to do an activity because you enjoy it, it doesn't matter if you're maybe not as good yet, or you're not progressing as fast or as quickly as you should be, or the way you think you should be. It doesn't matter. As long as you're doing it for the right reasons, that's all that counts. And Francine has some lessons to learn in this one. It's obviously a very good episode. Even with absent Arthur, it works very well. And Francine is a really likeable character, so I did want the best for her. Although it's not one of my all-time personal favourites, Francine Frensky, Olympic rider, is still a really good episode.